Good morning, Optimists. Today is Tuesday, October 17th, 2023, and I realized I just forgot to do something right before I started the stream, so just give me a moment. Forgot to close my door. Alrighty. So, just getting adjusted. Woo. All right, so today on the economic calendar, we've got... So we already had Fed Williams' speech. We already had retail sales minus autos month over month. And retail sales were an actual 0.6. So a little bit up from the forecast prior, down from the prior at 0.9. We had retail sales ex gas and autos month over month, also about the same, 0.6. Retail sales month over month is 0.7. Forecast of 0.3 and prior 0.8. So not terrible numbers in terms of retail sales. Kind of shockingly, a little bit, because I know that a lot of consumer sales have slowed down some in a lot of different sectors, especially in the consumer side of things. How do I say it? Just in like everyday purchases, consumables, paper towels, things like that. Excuse me. There's always time for tea. Let's see, we also had capacity utilization, industrial production, month and year over year, manufacturing production, month and year over year. We had Bowman. We had business inventories month over month. Retail inventories just came out as well at 7 o'clock. And up at 7:45, we got Fed barking. So let's jump on over to the chart itself, and you see we had this nice big pullback here down to about the 4,400 range. We have we hit resistance there at 4,400, but we're just getting a 5,200 moving average crossover here. Where is my bracket? Here it is. Let me go for 10 here. I'm doing the bid. Trying to get a fill there. Don't seem to be getting it. We'll just cancel that, and I'm just going to buy the market. I was trying to take this breakout, and now, unfortunately, due to timing, I'm going to have to chase it. But I think it's okay because we have a little bit of room left in this. I was really trying to grab that at 93, though. But I think there's plenty of room here to get up to 44. There's a fresh breakout, new science switch, fresh 5,200 moving average crossover. We should be okay. I do wish that I had gotten a better entry on that. I was trying to get this entry right here off 93. But just sometimes you just don't get the entry that you want. Especially when you're using the simulator. So I can't just join the bid and just pretty much jump right in most of the time. We have a flag there. Our entry's at 96 flat. Volume's not bad. That last candle had 8,700 contracts. It's pretty good size, actually. An overall movement. Holding out for the full 10 if we can. It's about 200 contracts to get through to get there. There it is. All right, nice trade on that. Definitely could have been better had we got in at 93 where we wanted to get in, but it's all good. This looks like it could potentially be a really large breakout. I'm going to pull out just a little bit and see where we have some levels. Obviously, 4,400 is a huge level to beat. I'm gonna pull back a little bit more. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We got that 4,400 zone. This is a little bit at 4,403, but I don't really think that's all that important. Let's get zoom back in here. Now, if we get a pullback to right here, about 95, maybe 96. I'd love to see like a 3-minute pullback. Really just a pullback to about 95. Let's see now. You heard me. Let's go to the bid right in this zone. Here we go. We got in at 96.25. So the intention for this is that this ends up being a 1-minute pullback, and then we want to see a rip over the highs, rip over 98.75. So I want this one to rip into 4,400 or like 43.99. I might end up getting a 3-minute pullback. That was originally what I thought that we might get. But I can never rely on the entries here. I also didn't want to risk trying to get in at like 96 and then not having an op to get in. And I've got my sell order right at the peak of this previous high here. And the hope is that we would actually rip right through that, just right on up into this resistance right here. But I don't mind leaving a few points on the table. About a 1.5 or so on the table. I don't mind leaving that on there. TTM is at 3.06 or 3.01. Previous is 2.7 and current is 2.8. All by 2.9. That's too much to decline in the TTM. And you can see it kind of turned around there. So we maxed on that one at 97.5 from our entry of 96.25, which is actually not a bad trade. It's 5 ticks. We're coming down to this 9 moving average after 1, 2, 3, 4 minute pullback. 9 moving average, very good zone. I guess that 95 area is the area that I should have listened to myself for an entry zone. So being as that's the case, I'm going to drop my sell order to about 97.25. Which would leave, it would be 4 ticks. TTM from 2.8 to 2.8 to 3.0. I'm going to need to see this hit 3.2 or maybe 3.4 to really give this some momentum up. We're going to have to break 96.25. Five-minute pullback here. Probably time to cut. Yep. All right. I'm gonna cut it right there. I want to see where it lets me out. Currently at $50 when I hit the cut. We'll see when it actually lets me out of the trade. Hopefully it lets me out while I still have some profit. See, I did hit the market button out, but you can see that market order just dancing around there. So it finally did let me out. Unfortunately, when I hit the market out button, I was in profit. By the time it eventually happened, about 30-40 seconds later, it had moved down, and now I'm out of profit. And so I'm going to consider that myself that I was still in profit, and that we managed that risk properly, because I can't do anything when it comes to the system itself. I can only work with what the system gives me. But I'm going to say that I managed that, because if that was in any evaluation, trade of 8, anything like that, that would have worked out just fine. And we would still have some profit. And take a look at the 3-minute side. Excuse me. Wow, this is actually a nice 3-minute breakout. You could have just followed this. And this flipped at 709. Actually 706. So it's a nice flip there. 3-minute side, we still got that 200 moving average there above the VWAP, but you can see the 9 is beginning to cross above that 200, so this is looking good overall. TTM on the 3-minute at 14.3, moving to 14.6 from 13.2 on the previous, and getting our first blue candle there. I'm a bit conflicted in terms of direction, but I'm slightly more long biased on this. Tried to get an entry again, no fill. We'll just hit the buy market. In at 95.75. Just trying to get in the 94 range. I'm going for a move up to 98.25. A little bit of stall out right there. Dang, sold down before I had a chance to take the profit. I'm going to reduce this 10 ticks. I'm going to go down to 7. 7 seems like a better range for the day. May actually even go 6. Just because the range on the day just seems like it's stopping out just shy of my sell orders. So this is the backside of that move, so I'm just going to have to cut now. So in regards to that particular trade, my range was just too large, but also my entry ended up being late. So I think my range was actually correct. I just needed to be able to get into the entry as was intended. And I don't think I have that capability to time this properly on Thinkorswim. I could time that on a live account of Thinkorswim, but not a sim. The simulator is just very, very laggy, I guess you'd say. On oil. Oh, and the ES. Yeah, I started using, I'm using market orders only on Thinkorswim just because I keep hitting join the bid or something like that, and I'll just watch it just roll right past my order. So I'll have my order even be above, and it still ends up going past my order. I think that's actually one of the reasons why I had joined the ask up here, was because I got better fills. But let's just re-add it. It's not exactly how I would really trade, because I'm not trying to buy the ask if I can avoid it. But at the same time, when it comes to think or swim, it's like I just want to be able to get an order filled. Gotta buy the ask there. That was why I had buy the ask. So it's gonna give me a worse fill, but a higher opportunity to actually get a fill. So this is an ABCD, or at least looks like it. We've got the support forming right here off 93, even though we had that big doji. So this could run up to like 97. I'm gonna flip that to 97, given this ABCD pattern. Need to see the break over 95 though. Our entry is finally a good entry at 93.50. The TTM hasn't completely died off yet, so that may make this trade not be as nice as it could be. TTM went from 2.1 to 1.6. Because of the cooldown in the TTM, I'm gonna drop this. I know I'm moving my sell order around, but guess I should have kept my original order there. Perhaps that was greed. I'm not sure. Let me think on it. I think it's actually revenge trading for the orders that I thought that I was doing well on or had an opportunity to do well on, and just sort of dealt with the limitations of the system on some of them. And so I think that I actually was not going for greed. I think it was revenge trading. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. When I search out my emotions, that seems what's right. Nine's down below the 12. We've got red on TTM, so this is either going to be a reversal or a drop. Like a reversal back to the upside, I should say, or a big drop down to the 50 moving average. Looks like it's headed towards the drop side of things. I'm going to have to cut it just because of the TTM switch, then the 912. I realized I don't have an average volume flow right there. This is not what I want. Realize I don't even have Bulls Bears. Okay. And then I'm trying to remember how to get rid of that. Before we adjust that, I'm going to save this first. Let's cut that off. All right. Going back over old trades, really need to work on getting a value for my risk that I can bear to lose, and stick to that amount. They killed my green. Do. I think I literally just... Oh, I didn't load up the same thing. I loaded up something similar. I like what I just had more. There was a way that I got rid of that before, but I remember I had to look it up. It was quite a long process. The process of actually taking it off wasn't that bad. This kind of like giant bull wedge here. A big reversal from 90 up to 94. I already had that 93.50 entry. I guess I could have just kept this trade on. But that would have required me to go all the way back down to 90, so. It's kind of weird for me to watch on the 1 minute chart, because it just feels super slow to me. Especially because a lot of the trades that I end up taking, I take on the 10-second. And so I sort of end up seeing these before they happen a lot of the time. So when I'm doing my evaluation, I can typically view these first. 93.50 was my original intended entry, but it didn't seem like it was going to happen. So I bought the ask again at a higher price than I should have. And we did get a pullback to 94, not 93.50 though. And what I'm looking for here is the cyan switch reversal. On this kind of large wedge here, that can be seen. Let's do empty channel. was a pretty bad estimate. But essentially, that's what I'm attempting to call out here is this channel here. That. And that. Didn't get the play. TTM going from 1-3 to 1-2 to 1-1. And reversing on the moving average crossovers too. So play has to cut. Sometimes you have to go over here and clear the cache in order to get a fill to happen. It's so janky. I don't mean to seem rude or anything to TOS. I love TOS, especially like when it comes to its live thing. But whatever they changed, when they changed it a few months back, they just made the simulation trading just be horrifically slow. And I don't know what they did, because when we started the stream, and you can go back and watch the original videos if you want, but when we started the stream, it operated fine. Like it operated like a live session. Now it's like it's so challenging to get any sort of trade. Yeah. Like moving your seller around. It needs some work on some things, but I do love it. Yeah, I mean, I love TOS. Like when I'm actually like in my live account trading stocks, I love TOS. Like I've tried other platforms, and I think that the one that does it best, like if there was a second best, I would say it would be WeBull. Plus, what I love about WeBull is, they hook you up with free stocks like often. They always require you to do referrals though in order to make it, but nonetheless, they do provide a lot of opportunity to be able to get free stocks. Try to grab that bid right there. Okay, so it did fill down at 94.50. And TTM getting a cyan switch right there. And I'm looking for a move up through these here and getting pulled back again. Kind of rangy right now. And sort of surprising on that pullback too, just because we had that hammer candle, but I guess it was a green hammer, not a red hammer. Red hammer, better hammer. Taking a look at the 3-minute side, you can see we got a lot of sell-off there on TTM. We did get that 9 above the moving average, like I mentioned earlier. And then we eventually got the 12 up. But we have a long way to go to see the 35 above the 200, and even longer to see the 50. Five-minute slide still on TTM hot. 3.9 to 4.2. So we have this 5-minute flag, and on the 5-minute side, you can see we're actually running into resistance on the 200 moving average, which is actually where this zone has been for a while. Is just hitting resistance of the 200. $13.9 to $14.2. It kind of feels like though that when this breaks, this is gonna break a lot. You can see the bullish momentum is seemingly coming inbound. Switching back to the 1-minute side, which does not have a cyan switch yet. Also, moving averages are looking like they're about to cross. They're on a cross right now on the 9. The 12 is kissing. And, yeah, I think we would just need like a quick little surge in volume on buy. We'll keep our trade on. Trade's looking nice. There's that cyan switch. There's the trade there. So those a 10 ticker. Pretty solid trade on that one. So if we can get a pullback to like 95.5, maybe 96. I'm gonna put a standing order at 96. It seems like too much pullback. Let's go to 96.75. There's the entry at 96.50. So it's a fresh switch, 0.7 to now 1.3 on the 1-minute side. Looking for a green dot on the Bollinger Band on the TTM here. Funny, man. So many offs to do something. So many sell-offs. Wow. Huge sell-off. That's actually quite crazy. I'm pretty shocked on that. So I guess we gotta flatten out again. Crazy. I was pretty shocked at that. This trade up here was nice, but then we just immediately canceled out those gains with a drop here. And I was looking for a pullback to the 9 moving average and then a bounce off that, and we just pulled back like a lot, like massive sell-off. Around 4,000 contracts or so. If you see me keep messing with my settings, it's because I'm trying to figure out how to turn the volume section off, and I forgot how to do it. I remember it took me a really long time to find it before. Weird. Monkey bars. The playground fill. Open. I don't really know how to read that. I see a lot of people trade with this sort of setup, but I have no idea what that is. I think it would be an appearance. I remember this took me forever to find before, like it wasn't obvious. I ended up having to look it up. Very rangy. Once it dropped down and just sort of ranged sideways. Interesting. A little unexpected. So I ended up adding a bunch of these levels here, just because we could see these forming in range with highs right there, highs on this little one here, and lows down here. What up, huh? Yes, it did reject that high. Liquidity grab potential before the dump. Well, with it ranging like this, like for as long as it did, because it rejected a couple of these breakouts. So we got that nice trade in here, but then we tried to take a pullback entry here, and it just ended up dropping. Let's see. Try to take a bounce off the 9 moving average here. It also ended up dropping. Yeah, well, one of the things I was noticing too is just that the cyan switch, like the TTM here, none of it is hitting up into the Bollinger Band, and so it's continuing to sort of flounder. It's barely breaking over 1, if it's breaking over 1 at all. It's mainly not. It's mainly just sticking around. So we might get another pop right here. So we got that bounce off the EMA 35. And for the most part, our trades have been really nice today. As far as the actual mistakes themselves go, I'd say they were pretty minimal. I thought we did a really good job of managing risk. I can only work with so much of what the platform gives me, though. Like, obviously, you saw we tried to get out of a couple of trades with profit. But due to the platform limitations, it wouldn't actually let us out of the trade, and eventually went red before it finally let us out. So I think that we did okay here on the day. We have a double top right there. Nice bounce from this 91 zone. But this whole area has been super rangy for the entirety of this. Start a brand called Hindsight Trading. There's a big rip right there up to the 44s. There's 4400. There's that. This is the breakout that we tried to grab so many times through here. We tried to grab it here, tried to grab it there. We took a trade here and tried to grab it. And then it's finally happening now. Had a really bad week last week. Yeah. Well, last week I took a very close to passing eval and crashed it. So I ended up doing that last week. And then on our final hurrah, I just went all in because I was like, well, you know, um, what else am I going to do? So I just put all my contracts on a trade. And I was like, if it even drops a single tick, we're out. It's over. And it didn't drop a single tick. And it did just rip straight up with 8 contracts. Unfortunately, the fees ended up just canceling the account immediately because you have to factor the fee structure in. But my trail max was at $1, so it was like, yeah, what are you gonna do, right? Yeah, you're 400 away. I think I was 680 away for my own. And then last Monday, uh I crashed a lot of the account on Apex. It was last Monday that happened. I had $195 left in Trail Max, and I meant to just actually just crash it and just intentionally fail. Even though the account itself was still above 50K, it was still in profit. But because of the Trail Max, it was down. Um, so I meant to intentionally crash it, and then I just didn't get around to it for the rest of the day. Because I ended up having a family thing that I needed to take care of. So it just automatically rebuild and yeah, just had to start the new rebuild with $195 in Trail Max. So that wasn't fun because I basically just had a rebuild for nothing, and that ended up giving me a lapse in a lapse in actually doing evaluations. So had I had the opportunity to actually get into my office and crash that account, I would be trading my evaluations right now. But I just ended up paying for basically a month of nothing. And I didn't realize how much that made me angry when it happened. And I kind of forgot about it, and I just remembered about it now. So no, because they're not going to reset it back to even. If you haven't failed it, they're not going to reset it. They'll just keep you where you're at. And so, like, let's just say you're like, let's say you've been trading it for a month, and you started with your 50K and you're at 50,150 or something like that. Um, but your trail max at $50. They're not going to reset that to 2,500 unless you actually fail. Then they'll reset it on the rebill. That was on Apex, not Elite. So I basically just ended up paying for nothing, which was really quite lame. That was a week ago because I have one on the 10th and one on the 21st. I try to make them be about 2 weeks apart because of trying to make it so that I can always have an evaluation going, so that there's always the most chance to be able to pass and move forward. So that's what's up with that. Oh, really? Well, my account was in profit. Like my account was over 50K. So I don't know. Um, but it was the Trail Max that was um not like that. So maybe it was because my account was above 50K, but I just always assumed that it was that way. I'd never actually gotten to that point, because if the, if I was coming up on a rebuild and my trail max was just way too low, I would just intentionally crash. Um, and so like if my trail max, like if my rebuild is tomorrow and my trail max is at like $100 or like $150, and it's like just crash it, because the the chance of me driving that back up to 2,500 is pretty minimal. So yeah, okay, that's cool. I didn't actually know that, but yeah, my count was above 50, and I failed on trail max. I didn't fail on anything else. So, but trail max is as good a reason as any to fail. It's one of the things I really like about static accounts is they don't have that trail max, but also they have a very, very small window. Um, but I think Apex, by the way, Apex is running a sale right now, I think. Yeah, 71% off. There's a coupon code down in the description for that. Um, they do have a static account. Here it is. It's 100K static, and profit goal is 2,000. Trailing drawdown is 625. So it's actually the same as Elite Trader Funding. Um, Allows you 2 contracts. Yeah, it's the same as ECF, and its base is 157. ETF's base is 135 for the static one, and then 157 times 29. So actually, it's about $45 before taxes. If you're getting one that's TradingView and TradeAway compatible. Actually, I was looking through these. I think the 250K or the 150K are actually pretty reasonable price points. You got like the 150K here at $91 currently, and when they do their 80% off thing, it takes down to 63.40. So but you get access to 5,000 on your trail max. 17 contracts is a really weird number. I don't think I would ever want to trade that many contracts, but you do have 5K on trailing. With a profit goal of 9,000, I don't think that's asking too much. So I might want to try one of these larger ones one day. just because the trail max is like that. I think for in order to get to a 9,000, I'd have to be taking a little bit larger size though. Something like 5 to 8 contracts. I think it would probably do 8 contracts because that's just a flat $100 on the ES. Um, and just go for scalps. Yeah, and I think this is actually kind of cool too. The end of the day drawdowns. Elite Trader Funding offers those as well. Um, I've actually never done an EOD account. What happens if you're not at profit nor drawdown at the end of the month and figure it reset and start over? I don't know. According to Pawn, he said he was at like 49,200 and they just reset it back to 50K. So if that's what they do, then I think that that's actually like kind of a good thing. I think that would be a good thing if they did that because why would you want to dig yourself out of a hole for no reasons? Because at the end of the day, I mean, it makes sense for them to put it back up at 50, and just try again. I think in my scenario, I was above the 50K marker by like $65 or something. So market kind of slowed down a little bit. Looks like we might get a bounce from 44. Gonna give it a whirl, see if I actually get a fill. So the price moved into the ask. There's the fill. Fill's at 99.50. This could just dump down, but the intention here is that we got this rip up, pull back, finding of support, and then a bounce back up towards like 44.03. That's sort of the intention with this trade. It's not sort of, it is the intention. Is to grab onto this U-shaped pattern here before the pullback. So the initial jump into the U. So we're currently profitable in the trade, but that can switch really fast. Being a little downward pressure on this. So it's at 44.01 was the top of the candle at the moment. It's one tick away from sell. And it's just sort of messing with our minds there. 44.0175. There's that one tick away thing that it just loves to do. Let's hit 44.2. Come on now. There's the sell order. Okay, rip through the sell order. Gotta love TOS's super lag. Yeah, so that's what ended up happening with that eval. I didn't intentionally, or I didn't get the opportunity to intentionally crash it. So I didn't get the reset. The range on oil. What's up with oil? I'm certain that the conflict in Israel is affecting the oil thing, because we were in the middle of doing a deal with Saudi when that popped off, with Saudi and Israel together. So it was a U.S., Israel, Saudi deal that seemingly fell apart when Hamas attacked. And it seemed to just no longer be the focus. You're right. The price is just dumping down. That's crazy. It's like a whole $2. But yeah, so that oil deal fell apart, or seemed to have fallen apart, because they never said another word about it after the fact. It was essentially Biden's in Israel working on some deal with the Saudis. He leaves, and then right after he leaves, Hamas attack. And no more mention of that oil deal with Saudi. So I don't know what's up with that. I know that there was some report that came out yesterday saying that the Biden administration gave Palestine $75 million right before the attack, like a day before the attack. So that wasn't a day before. It was at some point earlier in the year. It was like in March. They gave him like $75 million, and they said it was to assuage the suffering caused by Trump in Palestine. So, this is not political, not opinion in any fashion. This is simply what I've read about the current conflicts going on there, and also just about the oil deal that was going on. So I think that is affecting the price of oil as well. Is just that it seemed as if there was going to be a deal in place that was going to increase the amount of barrels coming into the United States for the foreseeable future, and then that fell through. At the same time that fell through, Exxon also put together like a $60 billion oil drilling rig, which I think is drilling more within our nation area. I don't really know where that's located, but that should also help alleviate the oil supply issue that's going on. Yeah, I would think demand would drive prices up, but also we're getting other factors as well. Like we have Exxon just opened up a new drilling rig. And so with Exxon opening that could help alleviate, because they're talking that's going to be able to produce millions of barrels a day. And so we were going up on oil for a very long time leading up to the conflict as well. On the ES, is that what you're talking about? Not the ES. This is ripping up. Hey, that trade ended up working out. Oh, I guess we did take that trade. Yeah, it was a 10 ticker that we took off that zone. But it ended up continuing to run. So we took this range right here. The very nice textbook U-shaped pattern here. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this just because it's so textbook here. Whoop. Beautiful U-shaped pattern right there. I'm going to share this in the group. Might throw this in a resource section. I was looking to put together like a resource section inside the group. And oil. Yeah, oil was an insane dump, dude. Massive drop. What's the NQ up to? NQ is following the ES. pattern's almost identical. Then we got the economic calendar going on. So we had the Barkin speech. Next up is monthly budget at 11. Then we accrued at 130, and then cash carry. I'll probably call it right there. Little bit of an L today, but I don't think that was 100% my fault because I did actually have quite a few great trades that just ended up not being profitable due to the limitations of the system. And so I'm going to count those as wins personally because I know that they would have worked out just fine inside of an evaluation. So I ain't tripping. I'm happy with my performance today. So, and as far as bad trades, I think I took two. Where one where I chased it, and the second one where I just was wrong. And the one that I chased it, we ended up getting some profit from it, and then ended up losing on that profit. So, and we were decently in profit, but just and then I did one other bad one where I moved my sell order up because I was looking for that breakout that we eventually ended up getting, and I should have just taken my original sell order. So those are the ones that I could improve upon, but I think I did pretty well overall, um, and so I'm happy with that. I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. I've been streaming for like an hour, so but I'm gonna shut it down, and we'll see y'all here tomorrow. Probably be here at 7:30. So I've been needing a little extra sleep in the morning. So right when I say that. Anyway, peace out, y'all. We'll see you soon.